Now on KGW News, a look at the 5 local athletes going for gold in Beijing. Plus, the mayor's plan for an emergency order to keep homeless campers away from dangerous roads.
By moving people, it doesn't make a difference. They're going to find somewhere else to be that's going to be just as haphazard as the next.
Then, a volunteer fire department loses one of its own in an explosive fire.
Our hearts are broken.
And later, what happened to the millions of COVID tests ordered by the state? We'll show you how they're being distributed. Your news starts now. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter. We begin tonight with a plan from Portland's mayor to issue an emergency declaration. The goal is to protect houseless people sleeping near busy roads. It would mean the city would have more power to clear those camps. Bryant Clerkley is in the newsroom with more on the order that could come down as soon as tomorrow, Bryant.
That's right. Hello, Laurel. The declaration is in response to a report that found that 70% of pedestrians killed in Portland traffic accidents in 2021 were homeless. The mayor's state of emergency would make it easier to remove homeless camps alongside dangerous roads. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler is set to issue an emergency order with the goal of keeping those who are homeless from camping near high-crash corridors. The decision comes in direct response to the city's annual traffic report that found 70% of pedestrians killed in Portland traffic incidents last year were homeless and camping near those dangerous streets.
It's not going to change anything.
Here at this homeless camp near I-5 in North Portland, Adam says he's not too happy about the idea because he says he has nowhere else to go.
In all honesty, anywhere you go in the world is a dangerous place. I mean, anything could happen at any point in time. So what makes an intersection more dangerous than going to the grocery store or riding the bus or riding the train? What is the difference?
According to the Oregonian, the emergency order would allow Mayor Wheeler to effectively ban camps in numerous places across the city, including state-owned property along highways. Don Hamilton with ODOT says they've put up boulders and fencing in certain areas to stop people from camping there, but there's just too much ground to cover.
Camping next to the side of the road, it's dangerous. It's always dangerous. It's been dangerous. It's dangerous not just for the campers at the side of the road. It's dangerous for the people in the cars.
Over in downtown Portland, Clay has been living in a tent on a sidewalk for several months. He says it's hard for a lot of houseless people to just pick up and move, even though they're in dangerous areas.
Definitely something should be done to at least accommodate making it a safer situation for everybody, you know? I just don't necessarily know if I agree with just telling them to pack up and leave, though.
So it's still not clear what the mayor's plan is for the people removed from these roadside camps. The city's plan to open 6 city-sanctioned camps by the end of 2021 has been pushed back to later this year, and none of those sites are currently up and running. Laurel?
Thank you, Bryant. In developing news tonight, we are learning more about a volunteer firefighter killed while battling a barn fire today. 30-year-old Austin Smith lived in St. Paul. He had been a volunteer with the St. Paul Fire Department since early 2015. Flowers with his name on them sit outside the department tonight. The fire started at about 4 this morning. Firefighters say there was an explosion at the barn shortly after they got there, and that's when Smith got hurt. He was airlifted to OHSU in critical condition, but the fire chief announced this afternoon he had died from his injuries.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to the Austin family and friends as we all begin the grieving process.
The members of this fire department are members of the community, and they truly serve this community because they serve their family. And so Austin is a part of that and is a part of really the history of St. Paul.
Austin leaves behind a wife and extended family in the St. Paul area. The state fire marshal and other departments are now trying to figure out what started the fire. Now to an update on the off-duty Vancouver police officer who was fatally shot in front of his home by a Clark County deputy. Police officers and other first responders held a procession for Officer Donald Sahoda along I-5 today. Also, for the first time since the shooting, we heard from the Vancouver police chief, who is calling the death a devastating blow. Right now, Sahoda's death is being classified as a line of duty death, the first for the Vancouver PD since its inception in 1883. This afternoon, Vancouver Police Chief James McIlvaine said Sahoda was a great guy and said this about the deputy involved in the shooting.
Yeah, my heart goes out to the deputy. This is a traumatic incident that in my 36 years doing this job, none of us want to end up in such a circumstance that you have to use lethal force.
Meantime, Officer Sahoda's memorial service is scheduled for Tuesday afternoon at A Casino. More details will be released in the coming days. A Portland police officer is recovering after being hit by a suspected drunk driver today. The officer was on his way into the office on his police motorcycle when he was struck. The driver was arrested and is now charged with DUI, reckless driving, and assault. The officer has been released from the hospital. Oregon is now getting at-home COVID tests out to local health leaders. They're part of 6 million test kits the state ordered at the beginning of the year. The first shipments went to hospitals and school districts. Our Alma McCarty found out how this next round is going out.
Inside a Washington County office.
All right, here we go.
This handoff may be informal, but it's important.
Box is all ready for you.
And long awaited.
All right, take care.
Nancy Griffith coordinated contact tracing efforts within the county and now manages the distribution of the test kits. The boxes, filled with 90 kits apiece, are going to specific groups, to shelters and congregate living sites, to first responders, and to community-based organizations.
It is very significant. It will be a huge booster to the people in our community who have a difficult time getting test kits. We have currently about 33 organizations have reached out to us. It'll be probably a total of 50 this first week, and then we'll have more next week.
As of Thursday afternoon, Washington County's health department has distributed out about 5,000 at-home COVID test kits, and that's out of the 16,000 that they've received so far from the Oregon Health Authority. Multnomah and Clackamas counties are also beginning to receive and distribute out their first shipment of at-home COVID tests to similar community-based organizations and providers. Centro Cultural, Self-Determination Resources, Inc., and Family Promise of Tualatin Valley all picked up their allotment of at-home tests Thursday. For the communities these organizations serve, access to testing is a game changer.
People have been ringing our doorbell nonstop every day. So we've been hearing the community loud and clear. So we're grateful for this opportunity to help close that equity gap for families that haven't been able to access due to income, due to having a multi-generational family, so there's just not enough tests to go around.
It's been a real scramble to find kits. So, it's good that they're now being made available, and hopefully, again, it can mitigate the amount of time people are isolated. People with disabilities are already isolated enough, and the pandemic has really exacerbated that to a great degree.
We want folks to be able to work. We want children to be able to go to school. And this is a very, very vulnerable population that has limited access to finances and limited time to pursue these tests. And so that's going to be our primary focus, is making sure that our shelter guests are well taken care of.
As for the general public, in Oregon, the health department recommends requesting free tests from the federal government. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Oregon is not letting the public order tests directly, but Washington is. They have a portal set up online for families to order up to 5 tests directly to their home. However, right now they are out of supply. The state expects to get more tests next week. You can keep checking back at sayyescovidhometest.org.